What we saw at Watkins Glen International was not normal. A rookie driver erased nearly 30 seconds in less than 25 laps, started deep in the field, and then won by more than 7 seconds like nobody else even belonged in the race. But somehow, the wild comeback is not the biggest story coming out of Sunday. Because what Shane Van Gisbergen admitted after the race, what Michael McDowell quietly revealed about his speed, and what teenage prospect Connor Zilisch showed before disaster struck, may have just exposed where the future of NASCAR road racing is headed. And honestly, the rest of the Cup garage should probably be nervous, so here's what actually happened. SVG completely controlled the race at Watkins Glen International. He led 74 of the 100 laps. The car looked untouchable. Then everything changed on lap 60. A caution flag split the field into two completely different strategies. Some teams stayed out. Others came to pit road for fresh tires and fuel. SVG's team chose to pit, and when he came back onto the track, he was buried in traffic. 26th place, almost 30 seconds behind the leaders. At that point, most drivers are just hoping for a top 10. SVG got on the radio frustrated because even he thought the race was over. But crew chief Steven Duran saw something different. He knew the cars ahead were trapped on old tires and fuel-saving strategies. Meanwhile, SVG had fresh rubber, full pace, and nothing to lose. What happened next felt unreal. Lap after lap, he carved through the field like the gap didn't exist. He caught Gibbs, he caught Connor Zilisch, he caught Michael McDowell. And once he got there, nobody could hold him off. He crossed the finish line more than 7 seconds ahead of second place. 7 seconds. In modern NASCAR, that kind of margin almost never happens anymore, especially not after restarting outside the top 25 late in the race. And here's the scary part for the rest of the field. SVG admitted afterward that the car wasn't even that strong earlier in the weekend. Practice was average. The breakthrough came in qualifying adjustments. Then the race setup finally came alive on Sunday. That matters because it tells you this wasn't just one perfect car dominating the field from the start. This was a team actively figuring the race out in real time. That's dangerous. Because when a driver can adapt that quickly during a race, especially on road courses, you're no longer talking about a specialist. You're talking about somebody becoming a long-term championship level threat. And remember, this is still technically a rookie learning NASCAR full-time. That's what makes this whole situation feel bigger than one win. Now let's talk about the number on the car. Because this race meant far more to SVG than just another trophy. This was his first Cup victory driving the number 97. That number carries deep family meaning. His father, Robert Van Gisbergen, raced with it years ago. SVG carried it throughout multiple forms of racing across New Zealand and Australia. Motocross, speedway, supercars. The number became part of his identity long before he ever came to NASCAR. So when Justin Marks and Trackhouse Racing gave him the chance to bring the 97 back full-time, it clearly hit him emotionally. And now his first win in that number comes at Watkins Glen during his birthday weekend, while delivering one of the most dominant road course drives NASCAR has seen in years. That's the kind of moment drivers remember forever. But the most revealing comment of the day may have come from second place. Michael McDowell had an excellent race himself. Smart strategy, strong recovery drive, solid execution. And at one point after the final pit cycle, he exited pit road basically side by side with SVG. Same strategy, same tires, same opportunity, and according to McDowell, SVG simply drove away from him, not gradually, not through strategy tricks, pure speed. McDowell even suggested it felt like SVG was pacing himself at times before taking off again. That is not something veteran drivers casually say after races, especially about another competitor in equal conditions. And honestly, that quote may be the clearest indication yet that SVG's road course advantage is becoming a real competitive problem for the rest of NASCAR. Because this isn't just about winning anymore. This is about control. He's dictating races, managing pace, making experienced Cup drivers look overwhelmed once the runs get long. That changes how teams prepare for these weekends moving forward. Now here's another major storyline people shouldn't overlook. 19-year-old Connor Zilisch nearly stole the spotlight himself. And if not for a tire issue late in the race, we might be having a completely different conversation today. Zilisch ran inside the top 5 almost the entire afternoon. He battled aggressively with Gibbs. He looked comfortable under pressure. And he was on pace for the first top 5 finish of his young Cup career. Then everything collapsed late. A tire failure sent him backward and destroyed the result. But even in disappointment, the performance mattered because NASCAR may have just gotten a glimpse of its next generation of road course stars in the same race. SVG looks like the current king of the discipline. Zilisch looks like somebody who may eventually challenge him, and that creates a fascinating long-term storyline for the sport. But before the weekend ended, the garage got one more layer of drama, because while Trackhouse Racing celebrated in Victory Lane, tensions exploded elsewhere. Bubba Wallace and Christopher Bell were seen in a heated post-race confrontation after both endured frustrating afternoons. The exact cause is still somewhat unclear from the broadcast angle. But the reaction itself mattered, because Christopher Bell is fighting for a championship, and late-season tension inside the garage can spiral quickly in NASCAR. One bad race can turn into lingering resentment. One incident can suddenly affect playoff positioning weeks later, and Bubba Wallace is not exactly known for quietly moving on from conflict, so this may not be over. Now here's the bigger picture moving forward. Best case scenario for NASCAR? SVG becomes a crossover superstar who elevates road course racing and brings new global attention to the sport. Young talents like Zilisch continue developing behind him, and suddenly NASCAR has an entirely new generation of elite road racers entering the Cup Series pipeline. Worst case scenario, SVG becomes so dominant on these tracks that the competition gap starts feeling predictable. Teams panic trying to catch up technically, and road course weekends become less about competition and more about surviving until SVG disappears into the distance. Right now we are somewhere in the middle, but after what happened at Watkins Glen, one thing feels very clear. SVG is no longer just a fun international storyline. He is becoming one of the most dangerous drivers in NASCAR, and if the rest of the garage cannot close this gap soon, road course races may start feeling inevitable. So now the question is simple. Are we watching the beginning of NASCAR's next true superstar, or are these road course wins masking weaknesses that will show up later in the playoffs? Drop your thoughts below. And for more deep NASCAR breakdowns and high-impact sports analysis every week, subscribe to SportsWire USA.